Today we're going to be looking at how to make these patches and then how to make them into a positivity pouch. So stick around if you want to see my process for making this. Hello and welcome back to a kooky corner of YouTube. Today we're going to be having a go at making a positivity pencil pouch. I have these blank pencil cases in my stash and I thought, wouldn't it be a good idea to take you out a little further? Wouldn't it be a good idea to make a pencil case or a makeup case or whatever else kind of case you wanted to, with some beautiful fabrics and slow stitching and some decorative little elements, and also something positive on the front. Born to be wild. These little wildflowers were definitely born to be wild. So let me show you how I go about it. So first of all, I want to make some of the little patches, the Born to be Wild one like I've got on here. I've got a whole host of them to use up because I've printed them off. And so we've got things like say yes to new adventures, be curious and learn. Everything starts with a dream. So I've got two of those. I've got another be curious and learn there. I've got this one, which I love. I'm not weird, I'm limited edition. That is definitely me. Follow your dreams, although I am actually weird. Trust the process. Do what you love. Make today amazing. Progress, not perfection. And I have also printed off, I had a little space on my sheet, so I've got some little branches which can go into something or another, and a whole host of little bunnies that I'm thinking of using for some kind of an Easter project. So I've got all of those patches. Let me tell you how I make them. So first of all, I open up my Canva app. Now you can do Canva online, or you can do it on your iPad, on your phone, or on an iMac or an iBook or your computer. However you want to work, you can use this particular program on it. Canva is, you can do certain things for free, but certain things are paid for. So let me just show you the design that we got together here. Now, if you can see, I've got a lot of quotes that I managed to get from Canva, and I put them on one sheet, and I've flipped them over. Now, I've done that for a reason. So if we look at this one, I can flip it back again the other way, flip horizontally, and I've got that little quote there. So I'm just going to flip it back again. So I've got a whole host of those quotes together on Canva. So I've just dragged them in onto my sheet, and that is all ready now for be printing. Now you're asking me the question, why have you done them backwards? Well, you can keep them the other way around. It just depends on what you're going to do with them when you print them out. So let me take you on to the next step. So that's already, I can download that. That's an A4 size sheet. Let's pop that to one side. I just wanted to show you where it started. And this would be a sheet that I then print off. So I download the PDF, which is what you can turn it into, add it onto your computer or your phone or your iPad, and then print it off. I print mine off on a piece of paper first, just to see how big these are, and to make sure that they're the size that I'm expecting them to be. Luckily they all were, which is good, but if they're not, then you can go back into Canva and alter the size of them to whatever size you want them to be. And the next thing you're going to want is some iron-on transfer paper. It's the kind of things that you use when you're making your t-shirts. So it's like a t-shirt transfer paper. This one I got from Amazon. It's a Photo Paper Direct. I've used this company a lot. I really like this particular paper because this one is compatible with inkjet printers, and that's what I've got. So make sure you get a transfer paper that is suitable for whatever printer that you've got available to you. So all different t-shirt transfer papers have got different instructions, so you have to follow the instructions of yours. Mine said that if I had any written things, or if I wanted something to be in a certain way, then I had to print it off backwards so that it will then print, or you can then iron it on and it's forwards. This is not print paper, but I'm just showing you as an example. So from your t-shirt transfer paper, you would then cut around your design, and I cut quite close to mine because I don't want a load of the t-shirt transfer paper hanging around it when I've done. So cut it off like that. Then you'd get your scrap and you'd put it face down. So if you can see through there, I don't know if you can see that. That's going to be the right way around when it's ironed on. Once it's ironed on, you peel it off. But you have to go with the instruction of your paper for how long you need to press down your transfer. For me, when I put that on my piece of fabric, I iron it for about 20 seconds. So you have to have a very hot iron, no steam, and you iron it for about 20 seconds. And then it says to peel off while it's hot. Well, I like to wait a few seconds until it's not too hot, because sometimes it will start to come back up. If you start to peel at one edge and you can still see writing on that side, then you probably need to give it a little bit longer with your iron, and then just wait and find an area that's going to peel up nicely, and then it'll all come off beautifully. So you can do that onto light fabrics. There is a specific dark fabric one, but I wasn't too interested in that because I wanted to work on some of these lighter fabrics. And this is the kind of quality that you'll get. It'll be exactly the same as the printout. And I did it on all different fabrics. I got all little snippets of fabric and I've printed them all out. And I can now use these in any project I want to use them in. So I'm quite happy about that, because I've got lots of things where I want to add in words to things, and they don't have to be these words. You can create your own. In fact, you don't even need to do Canva. You could do it on another program and make sure that you flip the words over, if that's what your transfer paper says. You could do like a line of text of some kind, or whatever you want to print out. But for me personally, I wanted to make these positivity pouches. It's been in my head. I had a dream. I had a dream and I dreamt of the positivity pouches, and I thought, oh, that'd be a really good idea. I will do that. So I did that. Also, while I was there, I printed off a whole sheet of my little logo, and that works really well if you want to print that off and stick that onto scraps. And also some of this tape works really well on that as well, and you can use that in your projects. So if you're giving them away or selling them, whatever you're doing with them, you can make your own logo and print that out and iron it onto fabric that you can then add as a fabric tag. So lots of different options with this particular process. Now, I've got all my bits ready, and what I wanted to do was the pouches, and I have got a whole host of these ready to be decorated. So I'll show you those now. So these are the blank pencil cases. I think I got 10 in a pack. And they're just simple canvas. They are like proper cotton canvas pencil cases that you can then decorate with whatever you want. I have painted on these before as well, and that works rather nicely. So I've got a little flowery painted one. So they're great as a canvas to paint on as well. And because you've already got the zips and everything in there, it's a really good price. And I got 10 for quite a small amount of money, really. So it saved me the fuss of making my own pencil case blanks before I started. But that is something that you can do. If you've already got canvas fabric, you can make your own quite easily. So with that in mind, I did my usual trick with my fabric scraps. So I'll show you how I do that. So one of the things you want to consider is, are you happy with stitching it into something that's just a little bit harder to get into, or do you want to just stitch something and put it on the front? Those are your two options. So you could stitch a base piece that's the same size of this and then just stitch it around, or you can do what I did, which is just to lay pieces of fabric on here. So you can do this one of two ways. You could lay out your fabrics and then put your little quotation on the top, or you could embed your quotation within the piece. Let me lay these out. So I'm going to leave myself a gap there. So I could put my fabrics something like this. I've got a little gap there, which is perfect. I'm going to put this bit along the bottom there. So just play around with it until you are happy with your layout. And then that piece could go there. Now, the one thing I will say is, before you stitch this piece on, because you want to be able to see all of this, I want to do all my stitching around beforehand, if you see what I mean. So I want to stitch down all my fabrics going across and up and down so that I've secured it all down, and then this bit would go on at the last minute, if you see what I'm saying, because you don't want to stitch through this, because this is something that you want to stay as is. So yes, take some more time than I have here laying out your fabrics. I'm just going to put that one there because it's got a gap. I've got a gap there, so I'll just stick that in there. But you could lay it out however you want. I've just used some little bits of fabric I've got lying around on my desk, but I would take a lot more time considering where to place them, and with different fabrics perhaps next time. So then, having got this with my little gap there, I would just do my thread where I do a running stitch up and down the piece. It's a little harder because you have got two layers to consider. But if you did it on a separate piece, you wouldn't have to worry about that at all. You could just get it all stitched up and then stitch the whole piece onto here. So for example, I've got another small piece here somewhere that I can show you as an example of. So this piece I've pre-stitched onto a bit of fabric, so I could just lay that on there and then just stitch around that whole thing. And I've got another one here, and I could just stitch around the whole thing, but I could do a whole piece that size if I wanted to, if you get my drift. I hope you're getting my drift. I'm trying to explain it as best I can, but you could literally then just stitch that whole piece onto the front of the pencil case, is what I'm trying to get at, and then pop on your quote. I could even actually do that with these. I could just use this as my basic, and then this could all go on like that, and that would look quite nice as is. So the choices are yours. Make your own pencil case. Have some pencil cases that are already made up, but then you have to figure out how you're going to stitch them. So you kind of pin and then make sure that you were only going through the top layer when you were stitching it on. And that's how I did mine. The next bit comes to any decorations you want to put on. So on this one, I've done my little felt flowers, and I'll show you how I did that in a moment. Okay, so I've got all my background done, and now I want to add in some little flowers for my blooms part. So these are felt. These are 100% wool felt, apart from the stems, which are not, but that's fine. I can deal with that. So I'm just kind of arranging them a little bit so that I can see how they're going to fit. You can see that stalk is hanging off there because I want this one to come down a little bit further. It adds interest if they're all at different heights. So I need my scissors. I'm just going to take that off there and pop that down there. So what I'm going to do now is taking off all these bits, trying to keep them in the order I've got them. Whoops, see, it's so easy. Actually, I'll put them a little bit further up there, so I know I'm going to knock them. Those two flowers go with that one, those two go with that one, and those two go with that one. I've now forgotten the height that this goes to. So let's have a little look. Onto that one there, onto that one up there, and that one. Did I want that a bit further up? Yeah, probably about there. Ish. Ishy-ish. So I'm going to move that over a little bit. And I think I'm just going to put a little bit of Pritt stick on just to hold it in place while I stitch it on. I usually use the fabric stick, but this works just as well. It's just a case of holding it in place. So that's there. Move that back out again. I think I've got them to the right places. They're going to be fine. I can always finagle them around if I need to. On there, just to hold it in place. Now I'm going to couch over these because I'm not going to try and stitch through them. I'm just going to couch them on, which makes the most sense. There we go. That'll do nicely. Oh, I've just got to decide what I'm going to couch them on with now. Just wiping my hands. Get the bits of glue off. I think I might do this blue actually. I think I'm going to go with that. Just to do a spot of couching. So if you make the panels separately, instead of laying it on top of a ready-made thing, the stitching bit is a little bit easier because you don't have to maneuver all the other part of the thing to start. Maybe I should have done these one at a time. Never mind, we shall persist. So I'm going to go in from the bottom like so, to lose that needle. And with couching you just go over it basically. If you go through it, it doesn't matter, but I find this is the best method for small or short long things like this. Came out at a weird angle there. Let's take that back in there. Don't want to come out there. I just want to come out a little way, like so. And couch all these down. You can see one of them's come unstuck already. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. No worries. Just keep stitching. And all the way up. So I'm just kind of like over, it's like an oversew really, but you're just catching that fabric underneath and giving it like a nice decorative line. If you wanted this not to be seen, you could do it in a similar colour to your stem, but I want my stitches to be seen. So I'm going to spend a couple of minutes now just making sure that these are all down, then we'll go on to the next bit. So my stems are all sewn down and I have given a little bit of Pritt stick just to hold these in place while they get sewn. I'm unconvinced as to whether to use the blue again, or I could use a mixture, couldn't I really? I could actually use a mixture. So I think I will. So for this first flower, I am going to do like a lazy daisy stitch, which will hold down both layers of the felt. So I'm going to come out to there and wrap it round and go back in. And I'm just going to make some petals that way. That's one. Do another one there. Wrap it around, put it down. That's two. That one went a bit strange. Let's make that a bit bigger. There we go. So I'm going to do petals all the way around that one. I'll probably change the red for this one and then decorate that one with another thread as well. So I will continue with that. I'll be back and show you. Okay, so my flowers are all done now. That means I can see different areas where I need to still stitch down. The edges, just to secure them all, so little bits down there, and possibly just down that side, and then I'm done. So you can see how this is shaping up. I am thinking now about the back. So I have a plain back. I could do the same again. I could do a similar thing, or I could do something much simpler and get another patch to put on the back and just stitch that on. And I'm thinking that I might do that. So let me grab out my patches and see which one's going to look good. So I've grabbed out my patches. These are the ones that I have cut out and showed you earlier. So I've got some rabbits. He might be a bit big actually. He could go on the back there. I think he's just too big. Let's have a little look. I kind of like this guy. So I reckon I'm going to stitch him on. And then I also thought about putting one of my little tags on there as well. So I've decided I'm just going to turn under a little of the edge and do a running stitch. That's the plan anyway. So finger pressing it down, and I'm just going to running stitch this along the edge. Because why not? I had another thought as well, that this rabbit or bunny could have been just ironed onto the pencil case without the patch, but I kind of think the patch gives it a little bit of something on the back end. Probably put that on as well, just because, why not? Get rid of all those little threads. So I'm going to stitch that on, and then I'll be back. Okay, so we're all done. It doesn't have to be done. I can obviously see areas where I can stitch into this, and I probably will keep going with it, but for all intents and purposes, that's all you need to know in order to be getting on with making your own. As I said before, these pencil cases are quite easy to make yourself out of a canvas fabric. It's literally just a square of fabric folded over and stitched, and then a zip added. But as I had these already in my stash and they need to be used up for something, then I thought it was a great idea to decorate them up and put the positivity quote on there as well, which I think looks quite nice there. I like the fact that it's slightly offset as well. It's not perfectly straight because we embrace the wonk. I need a stitch that says embrace the wonk on here, really. The back turned out fairly well as well. I've got my little bunny rabbit on the back. and I've got my little tag so people know who made it. It was me. Now you could also, and I have done this before with other of these pencil cases, is to line it. So if you wanted to line it, you could line it with a fabric. Just put a lining in there and then just stitch it around. Another thing I have considered is I've got some plastic pencil cases that are kind of like a mesh, and if I wanted something that needs to be kept waterproof, then I could do that and then do the panel method where you stitch a panel onto the front of it. So I might try that at some point and show you how I get on. But for now, I'm quite happy with that. That's rather lovely. And I'm thinking of all the different other ones that I could make with these patches. And I think these are a great idea. So yeah, we've got all these ones still that I can use. If you didn't want to go to the trouble of making your own sheet up in Canva, or maybe you don't have that program and you can't use it for whatever reason, I'm going to put 2 sheets in the Cool Cookie Creatures group page in the files with all of these on, and the bunnies as well, that you could print off and then use for your own little projects. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. My quick run through of something that I'm now obsessed with, and wanting to make some of these little patches to go on my clothes as well. That's another thing with different things on, but yeah, I'm kind of thinking of all the different ways I can use these. Anyway, that's enough from me for today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be back here very soon with something else. Bye for now.